Hello everyone, DCB here, and welcome to another Warhammer model build. In this one, we built in the Great Unclean one, using the tools of the Stanley knife, if needs be, the smallest clippers I have, a mold line remover kit, some plastic glue, and some super glue. Reason for the super glue is because I'll be building this lovely piece in subsections. This is the back of the box, showing you the different sort of Great Unclean one models you can make. You've got this bottle spellcasting one, you've got this one with the tongue sticking out, with the small knife and the bell, you've got the big sword and mace that you have in the front. Spellcasting one does have that mouth in the middle there, which is pretty unique. I'll be building it with the bell sword and the flail, and I'm not quite sure what head I'll be using yet. From the box. As with most of their big models, their big singular models, it comes in two boxes. The outer box shows you the artwork of the model, and then the inner box. This one has a massive Great Unclean one on that side, and then turn it around to the back. We have the symbol of Nurgle as well, so quite a nice big box. This says on the top, that Great Unclean one. I'll be doing two videos. This build video, which will contain the lore and show you how I build him from the instruction manuals here, and a paint video where I show you how I decided to paint my Great Unclean one. A great thing about this book is it comes with the rules for each sort of variant of the Great Unclean one, the spellcaster and the more melee focused one, showing you what to do if you want to give it the different head options, the different weapon options, if you want to do it with the bell, with the sort of like smaller dagger. You know, so you can make some interesting versions of him. I'm gonna decide what head I'm gonna do. As I said, probably aiming towards more of the tongue sticky out one than the standard one, for my own sort of like reasons. But yeah, this is obviously the sprues there. Three lots. You've got the main body, the sort of like more spellcasty bits, and the big base, which I'll be doing in a swamp theme, which will be done off camera. But there they are, all the bits. The bell sword is here, the one I'll be using for this particular build, with the flail there, which will be subsectioned off to make sure I can get to the tiny bits there. And of course there's some of the heads choices, which I'm definitely more leaning towards the tongue sticking out one. But without any further ado, let's get on with the build and the lore for this video. And there shall come 7 plagues, and in them you shall read his works, writ in black bile and run red across the land. And he shall come amongst you, all shall fear his touch, and thither in righteous joy he bestows these gifts. Rejoice! A Great Unclean one is a grotesquely corrupt greater demon of the plague god Nurgle, the chaos god of disease, death, and decay. These loathsome demons are the harbingers of the Lord of Rot and Ruin, and amongst Grandfather Nurgle's greatest servants, bearers of his most sacred plagues and poxes. Their forms are squat and mountainous, covered in rotting flesh and open sores that reap foul bits of pus, hot ropes of indetestable dribble out of huge tears in their enormous, bloated and distilled bellies. This horrific girth is supported by 2 impossibly small and or looking legs, and their enormously large, bloataceous heads are crowned by enormous stag-like antlers. To the mortal eye, a greater demon of Nurgle is undoubtedly the foulest of all the demonic servants of ruinous powers. Each of these great unclean ones is shaped in the fashion of Nurgle himself. Fly-blown, maggot-ridden intestines spill into view through the tears and gashes in his swollen belly as he lumbers forward. Clusters of pestilence and weeping bubbles erupt from his hide, birthing small swarms of giggling nurglings. Noxious juices sweep from dozens of infected spores, leaving a glistening trail of mucus in the great unclean one's wake. Few mortals have the stomach, let alone the will, to oppose such a being. Great unclean ones are Nurgle's lieutenants, the field generals of his plague legions. As monstrous and horrific as their appearance is, these great demons are possessed of potential affliction at odds with this nightmarish form. Glacious and sentient, a great unclean one takes pride in their achievements, his followers, and looks upon all the creatures in his legions as his children, and his underlings look upon him as an embodiment of Grandfather Nurgle. Each greater demon pays careful attention to all his followers, and is notoriously proud of their appearance and endearing behavior. A great unclean one takes delight in his minions' smallest bollocks, reveling in the variety and influence of their foxes and heaping praise upon them with delicious procrastination. With a wave of his palms, such a monstrosity sends forth his talibands, booming words of encouragement and growthful growls across the battlefield. The boundless energy and drive is possessed by all great unclean ones, constantly working to extend the process of rot and decay. They are heedless of their own comfort, while parts of the galaxy still remain untouched by Nurgle's bounty. Let rot, and flower bright to feed the plagues of future. One of the bringers of poxes, one of many great demons of Nurgle. Great unclean ones are Fagus of the Chaos God himself, both physically and in spirit. Every great unclean one is also actually Nurgle himself in some sense, and the father and followers often refer to him or them as Papa or Father Nurgle. Great unclean ones are seldom death-like or morbid in character. In fact, they are usually motivated by the same trivial enthusiasm that drive the living. They are giganteous and even sentimental in their nature, with a remarkable fondness for their followers. They often refer to their followers as their children and take great pride in their appearance and oddly endearing behavior. Indeed, it is not uncommon for great unclean ones to compare amongst themselves in the manner of spreading Nurgle's playtime blessings across the galaxy. They take pride in the achievements of their followers and fellow servants of Nurgle, proclaiming boastfully the splendor of the poxes and sores evidenced by those around them, and laugh heartily at the death and destruction wrought in Nurgle's name. Their appearance on the mortal plane is heralded, ear-shrilling owl glee as they burst through the veil of reality, delighted to walk on the vigilance of real space once again, spreading their bounty of plague upon mortals, often disease and desolation on a planetary scale, herald their arrival as an entire populations are stricken with the corruption of the Plague Lord's favourite plague, which is known as Nurgle's Rot. This disease is the most contagious, rapturous, and the most hideous of all sicknesses, poxes, and fevers Father Nurgle has ever concocted. The afflicted mortals slowly suffer as the plague ravages their bodies, turning them into bloated, rotting, living corpses before they succumb to the inevitable, agonizing demise. The blue bile stick, great unclean one, then wades through the collapsed cities, and the mounds of dying, happily bestowing his blessing, borne aloft the living tide of gruesome, clattering Nurglings. Where the great demons of Nurgle's rival gods are disappropriate in their manners' favour, the Lord of Decay loves all his children equally, even if some are clearly more accomplished than others. Rather than operating as part of a hierarchical structure, great unclean ones are given emphasis, tasks that come in accordance with the stage of growth and fealty that is currently represented. Those given the title of Lord of Earth are chiefly contented with procrastinating diseases and leading fungus legions of serve in the Garden of Nurgle. A grand impossible title significance that the Great Unclean One commands a infectious legion tasked with spreading the glorious plagues. It is said that before a Great Unclean One can gain entitled status, it must first successfully lead a plague legion at each stage of the cycle. Great Unclean Ones are motivated by all the trial, mortal enthusiasms that drive the living. They are indebted and because full of natural purpose to organize and achieve, driven to coordinate Nurgle's chaotic endeavors. The Great Unclean One seeks to install purpose and function in the demonic rabble under his command. Bloats of yellow spilling spittle fly from his wide mouth as the Great Unclean One urges his minions onwards. Reddish food rumbles. The great demon harries those who are tarrying in advance, or sees less energetic in the pursuit of the goals of Grandfather Nurgle.
The love of their minions fills a Great Unclean One with joy, but they are consumed with indigestion when a foe seeks to thwart Nurgle, and this escalates to potential rage if his underlings are harmed. When roused to war, a Great Unclean One is terrifying to behold. Through ponderous, they are all but unstoppable on the advance, shrugging off the bolts and blades of the foe as though they were naught but bothersome insects. Aided by the momentum of his charge, a Great Unclean One will throw his immense bulk unto his victims with all the force it can muster, the selfless act of generously warming its rotten heart. Those that survive are met with a combination of diseased plague flails, iron-barded bale swords, filth-enchanted bane blades, or bile blades, and rusted doomsday bells. It is not the physical attack alone, however, that makes a Great Unclean One so dangerous. By breathing deeply of the festering powers of the warp, he can summon a pestilent wind to wither his foes, vomit forth a steaming tide of filth, maggots, and mucus, or bless his underlings with new tremendous growths that cover all over the worst of wounds. If threatened with bodily harm, the thousands of diminutive nurglings that follow in the Great Unclean One's wake will attack an unwary opponent, dragging them down in a murderous wave the instant their father is attacked. Natural-born carrion creatures, numbering in the thousands, gather around the Great Demon to protect it and thrall it in its wake. Hordes of sky-blacked flies, rats, vultures, crows, and worms inevitably follow a Great Unclean One's passing. Great Unclean Ones long ago became injured to pain as a result of their aberrant infections, plagues, and virtuous sores. Their truly massive size and the ability to withstand almost any level of injury and pain makes them dangerous adversaries, and they can absorb astounding amounts of damage before finally falling to the attack of their foes. These demon lords possess a hellish powerless, which seems at odds with their bulk and squat stature. They barrel into their enemies, laughing boisterously, all the while lying about them with colossus rusty cleavers and seven-headed plague flails. The thick cloud of flies that feast on the open sores, disruptive of attacks of their enemies, and spread the putrid diseases of the host, all the while the cooling nurglings from a hideous vanguard from their patriarch, and in a playful gesture do all they can to help spread their beloved plagues to all those nearby. And that is the law of the Great Unclean One. The war gear, as said before, that a Great Unclean One can have are plague flails, bile swords, bile blades, which is an optional requirement for the plague flail or replacement, a doomsday bell, an optional replacement for the bale sword, and you can add nurgling attendants, of course, which have claws and teeth. I hope that you have enjoyed the lore of the video. I will now leave the rest of this build with the copyright-free music that has been running underneath, and I will speak to you again when this glorious model is fully built and ready to be painted. And here is the Greater Demon, the Great Unclean One in subsections, which has been pre-sprayed in Death Guard Green. I will now be painting this lovely model in another video. Please find the links for that in the description as well as the card at the top right hand corner of the screen. Now let's get this guy painted, and then I'll show you what it looks like fully painted with the flail attached to the hand. It's obviously for painting process. And there he is, all built, painted and ready to go. This Great Unclean One, this Hail of Nurgle. As you can see, I've decided to go with this lovely cyclopsy head with all the tentacles and the tongue, the purple lips, the flail there with the skulls all painted and the smoke billowing from it, the guts spearing out on a base which is supposed to be swamp lighted. I do need to add some grass to that. All the sores that are open, the pusses. I like this one. I liked this one. I did enjoy painting this one. It was a good challenge, as you can see there. As always, I do hope that you have enjoyed this glorious video of Papa Nurgle and his Great Unclean One. If you enjoyed the content, as always, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Put your thoughts in the comments below. Have you made any Great Unclean Ones? What's your thoughts on this particular model? Have you built it yourselves? Share the video you think with other people who will enjoy it. And as always, please do hit that subscribe button and click the bell notification for more videos. And with one final look at this massive model from his behind, this is DCB. Knowledge is power if we use it. I love this little one. Wisely.